Moderator for the evening, Pastor Bernard Montgomery.
Good evening, everyone. Certainly, this is a great day that we're going to enjoy ourselves with this Temple Care Matters this evening. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Miner, thank you for giving this opportunity this evening, our webinar overview in Temple Care Matter. We have a special presentation on chronic diseases and share about April suggested health observance, alcohol awareness. Certainly, we want to acknowledge our national leadership, Dr. Boise Kimber, President, Dr. Michael O'Miner, National Directors, NBCUSA Liaison to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This webinar is part of our continuous series of First Tuesday Temple Care Matters webinars. In each session, we will delve deeper into 7 pillars of Temple Care Matters. Now, it is time for our triple-demic update as we spotlight COVID-19, flu, RVS, flu activity declined in the United States after record surge. This flu season has been particularly severe in the United States, with CDC data showing a rate of hospitalization related to flu that is higher than any other season in the last 14 years. As of March 15th, there has been at least 43 million illness and approximately 560,000 hospitalization attributed to the flu. According to the CDC, the cumulative rate of 116.5 flu hospitalization per 100,000 people, and the highest since the 2010-2011 season. The CDC said data also shows there has been 24,000 deaths due to flu so far this season, including 151 youth deaths. The CDC also classifies the season as a high severity overall and across all age group for the first time since 2017 and 18 season. A recent benchmark for bad flu season. Vaccination this season reduced flu-related visitors to a doctor by up to 54% among adults and 60% among those aged 18 and younger. It reduces flu-related hospitalization by up to 55% among some adults and 78% among children and adolescents. Looking to next flu season, the CDC recommends that everyone aged 6 months or older get vaccinated against the flu. Now we will hear from our H.O.P.E regional coordinator, co-lead person. For years, for months, I have said Sister Linda Copper, but today I'm proud to say Dr. Linda Copper. She will provide updates about our regional meetings.
Thank you, Pastor Montgomery. Our regional conferences, we have the schedule. Our regional conference was held, our first regional conference was held March 7th and 8th, and that was Southwest Region 2. Woo! And our great host, of course, was the Morning Star Baptist Church family of Shreveport, Louisiana, Pastor Dr. Theron Jackson. Now, our upcoming H.O.P.E regional conferences include this upcoming Saturday, which will be hosted by the Far West Region. Regional coordinator is Pastor Richmond Johnson. It's Saturday, April 5th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., Mount Zion Baptist Church. If you're in Bremerton, Washington, or you know anyone, please, he would be happy to have you there. And then we have our Southwest Region 1, of course, Pastor Bernard Montgomery, April 25th and 26th. In the month of May, we have Northeast Region, our regional coordinator, Pastor Daniel Blackburn, and that conference is Saturday, May 31st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Union Baptist Church, Senior Pastor Victor Covington, 3 Martin Avenue, Albany, New York. And then in the month of June, we have Southeast Region, Regional Coordinator, Sister Brooklyn Rogers. It's being held or scheduled for June 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Miami, Florida. And additional information will be forthcoming.
Great.
Can I tell you about Southwest Region 2 Conference?
Well, I guess. I wonder who that would be.
Southwest Region 2, Regional Coordinator, myself, Sister Linda Carper. The Southwest Region 2, we're so grateful for the opportunity. It was held March 7th and 8th, as I said before. Our great host was the Morning Star Baptist Church family of Shreveport, Louisiana. We did have our 3 Hope trainings that were offered. Our instructors included Sister Rosie Jordan Maxson, Sister Nettie Johnson, and myself. We also had 3 CLS courses, and the instructors were Pastor Roy Elliott from Little Rock, Arkansas, Pastor Rory Thompson Sr., my pastor, and Dr. Cheryl Stewart of Arkansas. And we were greeted during the lunch and learn by elected officials, and the community resources that were included were the Sunday School Publishing Board, the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, and Research Includes Me.
Wow. Well, what was some of the feedback that you got back from some of the participants?
Well, some of the participants, they made sure that we knew that this conference was encouraging to them and they are looking forward to next year. We also had participants who asked if the conference could remain at a set date and time each year so that they can mark their calendar and know to attend. So I told them we're still working on that. And then, of course, the host church and the classes were great.
Wow. Well, I know that everyone's looking forward to the other regional conferences. And as we finish up tonight, I will check with Dr. Miner, see if he has a ticket for Bremerton, Washington for this weekend. I'll try to make that. Thank you so very much, Dr. Copper, for your input. Speaking about the regions and things that are coming up in the future. So we actually for everyone that is part of those regions, please get involved so that you will be updated with what your Hope coordinator is doing in your region. Wow. So next up, Sister Loretta Miller, would you give us some insight about Southwest Region 1?
Sure. I would be glad to. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really enjoy being on TempleCare and to give you this information about the Southwest Region 1 Conference.
Okay, would you give us the dates and the location for the meeting?
Okay. The dates are Friday, April 25th from 8 a.m. to 4 and Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon. Those are our dates. It's going to be held at 1775 Memphis Street, Hernando, Mississippi.
And who happened to be the pastor there?
The pastor there is the one and only Dr. Michael O'Manor.
Thank you. How can people register and what is the registration fee?
Okay, for a small fee of $50, you can register on our website, our link, www.hopenbc.com. I think I'm getting feedback. .com/SWR-1/conference. But we'll put that link in the chat, Pastor Montgomery.
Okay, that's right. Also, what are the workshops and seminar you plan to offer?
So we're going to focus more on Christian education and what our constituents need in this area. So we have 5 classes that are listed. Our first class is Technology and Ministry, which is going to help churches bring forth their church into the 21st century through social media and Facebook, taught by Dr. or Brother David Brown. Second class is a CLS update, which will be taught by Pastor Eric Williams, and he's going to just provide an update for the deans, not needing certification, but the deans that need updating how to uh, work in their area. The third class is Introduction to the Bible by Pastor Ecclesiastes Goodwin, and he's going to provide a new look at the Bible as it, from this current view or spectrum from 2025. I know we see some things in the Bible now that we missed years ago. Our fourth class is called Level Up. It's for instructors. Pastor Clinton Salisbury is going to help with that class, and he's going to encourage the teachers of our Christian leadership schools to level up and move to the next level. And finally, our last class is Course 2097, Rethinking Christian Education for Contemporary Innovations, taught by the one and only Dr. Michael O. Minor. And that class will be for instructors that need certification teaching in the Certificate of Progress program or the new Christian education program.
Well, other than the people from the great state of Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee, and Mississippi coming together, uh, what should the attendees, or why should they attend this conference?
Well, attendees are not only going to attend or experience a power-packed day and a half session, but they will also receive information about just up and coming information that they need in this new era of society, this new uh, sector or that we have going on now, because now we see church different than we did 10 or 15 years ago. As well as we're going to have a fun fellowship and exciting worship celebration with the one and only Pastor Callaway Bain from Mount Olive Baptist Church,
Okay.
all in the day and a half.
With this great information that you're laying out, would you also give us some information about the Sunday School Publishing Board Vacation Bible School curriculum?
Sure, I'm glad you asked. So the Vacation Bible School information will be conducted during one of our lunch and learn sessions. The theme this year, of course, I don't know if we have a slide for that, is God's Laboratory. I know we hear that in a song, God took my black soul and, turned it and washed it with some red blood. But we're going to talk definitely about that. The theme is coming from John 11 and 4, which talks about that. But it's a great opportunity for our churches to get involved and bring a little of the science, technology, education, and mathematics into our Vacation Bible School. So it's a great topic, God's laboratory, and it gives us a good chance to learn more.
All right. For several years, it has been a mad rush trying to get this information to everybody. I'm trying to get to the front of the line. Where can we get more information and order the material as well?
Okay, so if you would go to the Sunday School Publishing website, we'll also put that in the chat, www.sspbnbc.com. You'll go to that site and not only see Vacation Bible School information, but you'll also see a plethora of Christian education opportunities and books that are available to help you in your ministry.
All right. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to add to share with us? Because you talked about our regional conference and also the VBS. Is there anything that you would like to add or share with us uh, while you're up at the plate batting?
Yes. Well, not just attend our session to come and learn, but also I want you to come and learn and put these things into operation, to put them into effect, and you'll see how your ministry will grow. This we don't just teach for nothing. We teach for evidence and for work. And I'm sure God will certainly bless you if you come to our session and get prepared for the work ahead.
All right. Thank you so very much, Sister Loretta, and for your information. And some of that information that she has stated will be in the chat as well, so that you may be able to get to those links and get that great material for the VBS and the other things that we're trying to do, annual registration as well for the H.O.P.E conference. So thank you so very much. We have been hearing a lot about chronic disease lately. This evening, we thought we would share about preventing chronic disease. And I think that we could take better measurements and opportunity of preventing rather than getting disease and then trying to treat them. We're pleased to have Sister Lottie Minor, our NBCUSA H.O.P.E project directors. She also works as a navigator for Methodist Labana Memphis Congregational Health Network. For what I understand, she has not made it. And I'm sure that we have a pitch hitter. Is Dr. Minor available? If not, we will move to the
All
next.
right. Well, I'm pitching tonight.
All right. Well, it is your turn to bat.
All right. Well, good evening. Wow. You put me on the spot. I am nowhere near as versed as she is, but I'll do the best job that I can on tonight. But Sister Minor certainly does a great job working with Memphis Labana Healthcare here in the Memphis area. For those of you all in the Memphis area, the Congregation Health Network, and she does a lot of training and other things with churches around chronic disease. So I listen to workshops and stuff she has, so I'll do the best I can. So go right ahead, and I'll do the best I can to be Sister Minor tonight. I can't look as pretty as she does, but I do the best I can to provide information.
That might be the best information that you give out all night. But nevertheless, we talked about chronic disease. So just help us define chronic disease when you say that.
Well, let's go to the CDC. What the CDC defines, the Center for Disease Control, defines chronic disease. Broadly, it's conditions that last 1 year or more. Not something you get just for a few days and done, but 1 year or more, and require ongoing medical attention. And not only does it require ongoing medical attention, but it limits our activities in our daily living, or it's both. It needs medical attention and it limits our daily living. It's something that we know is a part of our lifestyle, and affects our quantity and our quality of life.
Wow. Well, let me ask you, what are some of the leading chronic diseases in our nation?
Well, in the nation, also for us as in the Black community, we know the big three: heart disease, diabetes, and cancer.
Wow. What kind of impact do chronic disease have?
Well, I was amazed, and this is some things Sister Minor was sharing, that I didn't realize that chronic disease is the leading cause of death and disability in the United States. And I guess more so the disability part. I can get the death part with the disability part, because we're more likely to become disabled than we are to die. And the other thing that we all know, that it's the leading driver of our big healthcare costs in America. We're talking about $4.5 trillion in medical costs, and most of that is attributable to chronic disease.
I know, Dr. Minor, you're a pitch hitter tonight, but how many people do you think in our nation have chronic diseases?
Well, in the last workshop that Sister Minor conducted, it surprised me. I knew it was a number of people, but it surprised me when she said 6 out of 10 people, 6 out of 10 have at least one chronic disease. And as I was trying to really digest that data point, really get that, then she came back and added that 4 out of 10 Americans have 2 or more chronic diseases. I was like, wow. And I'm glad she didn't come back and talk about people who have 3 or more. So I was really like, wow, there are a lot of people in our nation that are suffering with chronic disease.
And as we look, there are so many people that are afflicted by this. Is it because that we are settled on medication, or there's measurements? So why are so many people afflicted with this?
Well, it's sadly simple. Many preventable chronic diseases are caused by a short list of risk behaviors: smoking, poor nutrition, physical activity, and excessive alcohol use. And by the way, Pastor Montgomery, this is Alcohol Awareness Month.
Yes, we will share more about Alcohol Awareness Month a little bit later on in the webinar. But you mentioned some of the risk behaviors. And in this society, a lot of things that we consider as normal behavior, but it contributes to chronic diseases. So, what are some of these good behaviors people can undertake to prevent or lessen the effects of chronic diseases?
All right, what can we do? The good stuff, not the bad stuff. I thought Sister Mara was going to lay out seven because you know we are good Baptists, good religion. The seven is number of completion. But she talked about six different good behaviors or practices that people can have. At the top of the list was talking about good nutrition. And it reminds us that yes, we are what we eat. And of course, one of the big problems we have in our National Baptist church families is that we get some bad habits even in our own fellowship meals. But Pastor Montgomery, that's a whole webinar by itself. Another thing that we don't do enough of is sleep. Most Americans are underslept. It's recommended that we get to 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I mean, there are a lot of people, even people of age, who only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep, if that. And they have a sleep deficit going on all week. And look, we're not talking about people that work. We're talking about retirees. Right now, we have so many people that just literally stay up on watching TV and other things, and they're really being sleep deprived. Of course, the third one is exercise. Now, the issue we have with exercise is that most people think you got to get on a bike or walk or a run. It's really just going about this movement, being active in what you're doing. Of course, we want to avoid risky behavior, alcohol, tobacco, drugs. Another one is stress, harness stress. How can we find ways to deal with our stress? And of course, the sixth and most important thing for us is social connection, which is why we do so much in the faith community. Is stay connected to your friends, your family, your people, your pets, your congregation. That's very good in helping you deal with those good behaviors and how you can manage chronic disease.
As I listen to you, Dr. Miner, it sounds like you, especially when you talk about sleep, then exercise, it sounds like that needs to be a well balanced when you talk about good practice. Because if you do one and don't do the other, it throws things out of balance. So I think that works well together. And social connection, especially those that are retired, that you don't need to be alone. I know we work around people and those type of things. So social connection is very important. And these good six practice that we use, is there that all the things that we've covered, is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
Well, one of the things that he didn't ask me to say this to you all, but Pastor Montgomery is taking the leadership for our health ambassador training classes across the country. Really, if you look at what we teach in Module 1 of our health ambassador training, we talk about the connection between faith and health. And one of the things that we get involved with is how can we be trained to well, mind, body, and spirit, and talking about the things that our health ministries can do. One of the things it's talking about is doing exercise. Now, what we're going to do is to understand in our churches that God wants us to do these things. It's not lost on me. Let's think about something. Now, don't throw anything at me. You know what, Pastor Montgomery, can't throw anything at me because I'm on Zoom.
Don't break your TV.
All
The
right.
computer, rather, on your computer.
Exactly. But if you notice, I guarantee Jesus' disciples were in great health because they walked everywhere. They walked everywhere. And you notice Jesus had a chance to get rest, the things that they ate. So we have a biblical record of how our Lord and Savior practice these things. Um, and I think it's important for us to do that because we don't have what they say, I'm going to get it right in my next life. So we only have one life. What's that old soap opera, One Life to Live?
Mhm.
Uh, we only have one life to live. And that's all that I have. But I do want to, we come back around after you get the things lined up, and we'll have some further updates from Sister Minor. Well, I'm gonna put it back in your hands, Pastor Montgomery.
We've covered a lot. And one of the things that you just mentioned is that is coming up this month is Alcohol Awareness Month. And it's getting to the what we consider the spring and the warm season of the year, to where we're going to have a lot of outdoor activity. But when it comes to alcohol, let's make sure that our friends, our family, our loved ones, uh, watch them go to the cooler and how many times they go there, and be aware and conscious, and have a mindset of trying to direct them from overindulging in alcohol. It's going to be almost impossible to, I know, at family reunions and class reunions, those type things get together to stop it. But make sure that we put up some barriers that would assist those that dive in or get deeper off into alcohol. Also, yes, April is our Alcohol and Awareness Month, an opportunity to update your knowledge about alcohol use disorders, AUD, and the adverse impact of alcohol misuse on health and society. Alcohol related problems continue to take a heavy toll on individuals, families, and communities. Researchers estimate that each year there are more than 178,000 alcohol related deaths, making alcohol a leading preventable, let me say it again, making alcohol a leading preventable cause of death in the United States. In addition, more than 200 disease and injuries related conditions are associated with alcohol. Wow. That's a tough road to hold there. Also, Monday, April the 7th, this Monday, is World Health Day. Now, health is more than just a disease. When you talk about the poverty and those people that do not have proper shelter and the opportunity for health care. And we should do what we can, even in our foreign mission and in those things, to assist in health outreach. So let's remember that this Monday, April the 7th, will be World Health Day. 25 kicks off a year-long campaign on maternal and newborn health. Let me say this: maternal and newborn health. The campaign title, Healthy Beginnings, Hope for Futures, will urge government and the health community to ramp up efforts to end preventable maternal and newborn death, to prioritize women's longer term health and well being. And one of the ways that we do that, as far as National Baptist, is our health ambassador training. We remind everyone of our self-paced health ambassador training to receive credit towards health ambassador certification. Email, you can see it on the screen, or you can email us, info@NBC.com, to register, request a copy of the lesson guide, and complete the training survey at //hopenbc.com. Okay, it's all on the screen. Thank you, dude. And so you can do that so that you can receive this great information. Now, I'm going to borrow something that Dr. Miner had said earlier. And I echo, do not break your computer, because our health ambassador, curriculum and health ambassador, it is our boots on the ground. So don't worry about what the fans at, but it is our boots on the ground, our health ambassadors. So again, let's not forget, April, Suggested Health and Wellness Observance, Alcohol Awareness Month. Again, it's Monday, April the 7th. And you can download and complete all this annual health information or health observance on Hope NBC.com. Now, upcoming events. Registration is now open for our NBC USA Congress of Christian Education in June the 16th through the 20th, 25 in Montgomery, Alabama. You may go on our NBC USA Facebook page for details. We hope you will join us in our April regional meeting. Again, April 5th will be Saturday in Bremerton, Washington, with Dr. Johnson, and certainly in our area, Southwest 1, on April the 25th and the 26th in Hernando, Mississippi. Dr. Miners hosting that event. We have covered much this evening, but the best part is yet to come. We want to hear from you in time for our Q&A period. Okay, Sister Minor, I do see you, and I'm going to pause and let you come on and give your input. Are we good now? All right, all right. We're in your hands.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Pastor Montgomery, and thank you, Dr. Miner, for pinch hitting for me, and I think for Sister Nettie, and I don't know who else was missing in action, but I am here. I am here. I have entered the building, and thank you guys for your patience. Pastor Montgomery, you did great. You didn't need me to say anything.
Thank you. Checks in the mail.
There you go. There you go. Check is in the mail. You're right. All right. So, talking about chronic diseases, I think that just about everything I could have said has been covered. Just want to reinforce the fact that so many things that we take for granted every day are actually chronic conditions. It could be something as simple as eczema. You know, that can be considered a chronic condition because it's something that is very hard to get rid of. It's something that you live with and you take maintenance drugs to control it. So managing chronic diseases, preventing chronic diseases, there is a big movement, even outside of Hope, across the country, about how we can do these things. So as we get more and more resources to share with you guys about chronic conditions, we will continue to do that. We'll continue to share things also about caregivers and the importance of caring for the caregiver when there's a person in the home with a chronic condition. We need to learn to self-manage our chronic conditions by different techniques that will take our mind off the pain or take our mind off the medicine, even if it's just for a few minutes. And that is applicable to almost any chronic condition, from heart disease to arthritis to diabetes, depression, asthma, bronchitis, emphysema, mental conditions. Like I said, something as simple as eczema, anything. We can use a lot of different methods that are tried and true to help prevent and manage these conditions. I think that Pastor Montgomery was about to open up the Q&A, and I'm going to go ahead and say I agree with him that we need to go ahead and do that. Did Sister Nettie come in? I thought I saw her pop up on the screen. But yeah, we're gonna open up the mic for the Q&A. First of all, we'll give Brother Duke an opportunity. Oh, Brother Duke is the host. Okay, Pastor Montgomery, um, you go ahead and proceed. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're fine. One thing that I will echo with what you said just a minute ago, Sister Mine, just before we get into the Q&A, is that you talked about the care provider.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact you can write a book on that and date it within the last couple of years. So that is a tremendous point to be made, is that we need to be aware of how much that the care provider has to go through when there is chronic illness in one's family. It's a lot to bear, and Dr. Miner talked about rest and exercise. So in between that, it's tough to do that. But however it be, God did bring you through. So we're grateful for that. And I'm sure that you're not the only one that have endured that and have gone through it. But certainly the caregiver is very important.
And
Uh,
Pastor Montgomery, I think we can co-author that book together.
oh, yeah. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We want to hear, and Sister Dr. Copper, I want to say Sister Copper, Dr. Copper,
Mm-hmm.
will you monitor the Facebook comments and help us out with our Q&A? We thank you for the questions. So as we began to look at our questions here and see what we can do, well, let me do this real quickly. Uh, we got an agenda that's going to be for the May 6th, which will be our next TempleCare Matters. And we will talk about American Stroke Association Stroke Month, National Mental Health Month, and NBCUS Hope Mother's Day, Bell for Remembrance Breast Health Awareness Sunday, National Women's Health Week, and Power to End Stroke. And certainly you'll be able to get that information on our hopenbc.com as well. Okay, so we're ready for our Q&A. Okay, do we have any hands up? Help me out, Duke, so I can see where we at here. I don't have everybody in front of me. Let's see, can I get a gallery view?
Sister Ford has a question.
Okay, Sister Ford, and I think we're coming to Sister Campbell after that. If you would unmute and give us your question. Sister Ford.
Go right ahead, Sister Ford. You're unmuted.
Okay. We'll come back to Sister Ford. Sister Campbell, did I see your hand up?
No, sir.
Okay, that's still Sister Ford hand. Okay, okay. All
Right.
right. So is there any question?
There's a question from social media for Sister Minor.
Okay.
To the question, could she provide some provide feedback on what she did to take care of herself as she was doing being a caregiver? I guess this must be somebody as a caregiver trying to figure out what they can do find out what you did. So this, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say to this one.
Oh, I know you are. I didn't take care of myself. I didn't. So I did it the incorrect way. So you all want to do the opposite of what I did as a caregiver. Even though I had help coming in, it was still very hard for me to turn off. And for a lot of reasons. It was because I started with one person to care for. Then I ended up with two, one of them who I was out of the house from, my husband. So that was additional stress by being in different places while he was sick. And then my mother got sick while all this was going on. So I did not turn off. And now I'm feeling some of the repercussions of that. So what I would say is learn how to decompress. Learn how to walk away when you have some help, whether it is a family member, a person provided by an agency, whomever. Learn to turn it off for a minute, just so that your body and your mind can get some rest. And use the same techniques that the patient, particularly if your patient is in his or her right mind, if it's not like a mental condition or something like that, use the same techniques they use. If they are able to exercise, you exercise with them. If they're taking a nap, you take a nap while they're taking a nap. If they're using distraction techniques to get away from their pain for a moment, you do the same thing. Distract yourself. If they are using guided imagery, or you have somebody reading to them to give them guided imagery, or singing to them, or any of those things, use those same techniques for yourself to try to keep yourself healthy. Pastor Montgomery, would you agree? Because I know you face some challenges occasionally with being a caregiver.
Yeah. What I would say is that you have to schedule short-term goals, even though the illness will be there a long period of time. But I think if you could, what are the appointments this week? What is the medication?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pace yourself. Those things, if you got to get refills and those things, it could be very. It sounds small and tedious when you're saying, "Well, all I got to do is go and get refills."
Mm-mm.
Well, if you got to go get refills and you got to prepare dinner and then help someone to get dressed and bathed and those things add up.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pace yourself and set some of that relax or quiet time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would suggest, I know we fall asleep in the chair, at the table, on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, good rest is just actually getting in the bed. Even if you have to do it 2 o'clock in the afternoon, get you some proper rest. I would suggest that to anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. Because sitting up in the chair, even if it's the most expensive recliner, is not the same like laying your body out in the bed away from that person. And Pastor Montgomery, your example is hilarious in that I cooked dinner and then went and picked up prescriptions. I've made 2 trips today, different pharmacies. And Pastor Minor doesn't know it, but he might be going to the third pharmacy today before it closes tonight. It's all about being a caregiver. And I was cooking dinner for him because even though he doesn't need a caregiver in the traditional sense, he needs some help because he's got some health challenges. So I felt like I needed to cook dinner while also doing all the other things. So your example was right on point. Everything you said is actually what I did today, and then some.
We have another question. It may be, even though she wasn't directly on our call, our webinar tonight for Sister Campbell, the question is, this is Alcohol Awareness Month. Should churches use wine for communion? I guess they're probably referring to the fact that maybe there's somebody there in the congregation that may be an alcoholic. So, Sister Bettina, are you still with us on this evening to respond to
I'm
that?
with you, but it's just something I really never thought about. I don't, I would say that if you know that you have members in your congregation that are alcoholics or are recovering from alcoholism, that you probably should just use in general, just use grape juice and be done with it. Then you don't have to worry about whether or not there is someone there. So
Okay. All right.
sparkling grape juice tastes very good. So I would suggest that you use that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sister Loretta, you have a question?
I do have a question. I do have a question. And it might be something that I've experienced just in case, but I wanted to assure or make sure. So what you're saying is at whether you become a caregiver or whether you need to be taken care of, you need to really follow those um, what are those 7 tips that Dr. Miner gave? You need to get the right amount of rest.
Six
You
tips.
need to eat right. 6, okay. Don't drink, don't smoke, take care of yourself. Get the proper amount of rest. And I didn't realize how important that was until I didn't get the proper amount of rest. And I think someone put in the chat, learn to say no. You know, I really enjoy walking, but sometimes my body says you're tired and I have to say no, although it's something I enjoy. So you're saying we must take care of ourselves first before we can become a person that needs to be taken care of, right? We got to take care of us first. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get.
There was a question, Dr. Minor, that I'm looking at. in the
That's
chat.
that's gonna be for Sister Minor.
Okay, 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 okay.
Sister Minor's a question in the chat for somebody that you got that needs to make a lifestyle change and they don't want to hear it. So you deal with this in your line of work, in your training. What are your suggestions for this? And Sister Minor, why don't you take a time? We would have done this in another part of our webinar. Would you just briefly describe what you do in your other job at Methodist, and then you can go and answer this person's question if you don't mind.
Okay. What I do on my third job is work as a navigator for the Congregational Health Network, which is a part of Methodist Lamar Healthcare. Their program is something that has been lauded across the country for being able to help faith communities better serve their congregations when they are stricken with illnesses. Um, what we do is offer resources. We are not the clinical providers, just like the Community Development Corporation that is housed within the Hill Hernando Baptist Church. When several of us on this call work there, we're not clinical, even though we talk a lot about health. We're talking from a layperson point of view, but we provide resources. So same thing with Methodists, providing resources to congregations so that they can help their parishioners live healthier lives. And one of the current focuses is individuals with chronic diseases and also the caregivers for those individuals. So to answer your question, if someone doesn't want to hear it, there's nothing you can do within yourself. Prayer is the only thing that's going to change that person. They've got to want to do better. Offering somebody information about physical health is just like offering them information about salvation. They've got to accept it for themselves. You cannot make them do it. You can model the behavior in front of them. You can do all of that. It's their choice, though. And you have to prepare yourself. If that person is making poor choices and they're one of your loved ones, you've got to prepare yourself for the consequences. Same thing as if we have unsaved individuals in our families. We prepare ourselves for the consequences of what they may get themselves into while they're on this side. And then we prepare ourselves with the understanding that we may not see those people again when we get to the other side because of the choice that they've made. Does that answer your question?
Okay, I think we're good there, Sister Minor.
Might I just add a little bit to that, Sister Minor,
Please.
from a mental health perspective.
Mhm.
Sister Minor is totally correct in what she's saying, but also sometimes as parents, when our children get grown, we try to tell them what to do with. But in this case, if you feel that you have a blood pressure problem, if you start to exercise and you start to eat right and you start to do things and you invite them to join you, and even if they don't join you, you start, as Sister Minor mentioned, modeling it before them. A lot of times they'll look at you and they'll say, "Oh, well, look, Mama, you look good. What you been doing?" And then you can share what you've been doing, and then that person may decide that they too want to look like Mama, and want to feel healthy like Mama, and then and they'll start doing it. Or you can make a dish for them that they don't think that they will lack, because it's a healthy dish, and invite them to come over to dinner, and when they eat, "Oh, this is good, Mama. What did you do?" And you start doing those kinds of things and adding prayer to it. And who knows, maybe you can convince them just by doing it, and by gradually involving them in it, they'll become healthier too.
Okay. All right, and I guess Sister Copper, we'll get on this after the call. People have asked us they want that list of different things that we used, that we talked about, those 6 different things. So everybody, we will get that and we'll email it out to everyone. Sister Copper, remind me tomorrow. We'll take care of that, and we're glad that was a very of interest to you all.
Okay.
Okay, it's another question. Is it okay to drink alcohol? So so I guess because alcohol awareness month. So hey, so, that's a question.
I would say no, because we come back to the old adage of moderation. Well, what's moderation? Moderation for me, excuse me, may be a fifth of whiskey. Moderation for somebody else may be 2 shots. And what happened when you drink alcohol, you start to crave for that taste after a while and the feeling. And you will notice that when person that is an alcoholic or have those issues, they get drunker than drunk. But when one swallow is not enough and 1,000 is not enough, so that becomes you don't have a cutoff point. And then there are times when people begin to drink, they become characters. All of a sudden they Hercules. You know, they stronger than everybody. They can fight everybody in there. And then some will just go lay down like a lamb. But nevertheless, it's too much emotion and side effects from alcohol. I don't think you should start.
Okay, well, let me just add. I think the people talk about the fact that Jesus turned water into wine was his first miracle. Let's remember that the reason that and okay, well, I hope you can hear me just fine. I'm from the laptop, but the thing about it is that the water was bad, so they had very low alcohol wine because that was fermented to cut back on disease. So let's be clear on that. I would just share from personal experience. I was a casual drinker in the early 90s. I didn't, just a few wine coolers was fine for me. But one day I was driving home from this was when I was living in Boston, Massachusetts, from a meeting, and I had a couple of drinks. And it dawned on me that, is this enough? I didn't feel like I was buzzed or high. But my concern was, if I got pulled over, what would the breathalyzer say? And the job that I had, and the law was at that time, if you got pulled over, you automatically had your license suspended. I think like for 60 days, and you would get put in jail over the weekend. Well, for my job, if I lost my license, even the suspension, I would lose my job. So I just stopped drinking. And people to this day think that I was an alcoholic because I stopped. I stopped because, I just be honest, I stopped because I didn't want to lose my job. So I just don't drink at all. And then really, I don't like to be like around a whole lot of drinking and they're carrying on. But that's my choice. As Paul talked about, about being single or being married. I think it's a choice people have to make. But I do agree with you, Pastor Montgomery. It's a slippery slope. We have to be careful about the drinking and those things that we do. But I would say that we should not condemn people in our church that drink. But it does seem a bad example when folks see preachers at the bar drinking, even though it may be a casual drink. When they see preachers there, it creates a problem. All right.
Dr. Mine, I'm going to say this and I sign off. It is the side effects of drinking.
They go hand in hand. Yes, Sister Bettina.
I just wanted to say to people that if they need some resources, we had a really good webinar on the 19th of this month. 19th of March, about alcoholism and looking at the genetic and the mental and physical components of it with Dr. Don Vereen. If so, go to our website and or go to the YouTube and look for that webinar, and it would be a wonderful resource for you. I mean, he did an awesome job in explaining it.
Okay. All right. So look, we get ready for next year. All right. That's all the questions I have across social media on our end. Unless Duke has anything picked up on Sister Copper. Okay. All right.
And I do want to just remind people, we will have the New Beginnings Diabetes Self-Care sessions coming up, and we want people to check back on the H.O.P.E website for dates for different regions.
Can I make a comment? Since you mentioned this word called moderation,
Yes, go right ahead.
and we were talking about moderation in alcohol, but I think we also need to consider moderation in eating because I asked a question about nutrition and how it fits into, because someone was asking about hypertension, so I know some churches don't allow fried chicken, the Hill Hernando. However, some people can eat fried chicken if they eat it in moderation. But I think we choose to moderate things that might be bad for us physically, like we think we're getting enough sleep, but we're really not. We think we're drinking enough water, but we're really not. We think we're eating enough fresh vegetables or raw vegetables, but we're really not. And I think we need to consider this temple that we have and how we take care of it. And if we take care of our physical temple, the temple will take care of us. And we might not need a caregiver. We might be able to handle caregiving, but I would much rather be a caregiver than to be cared for. So I think we need to do a lot of things in moderation. The exercise we definitely need to do, eating right, and those things that Dr. Miner mentioned.
Okay. Look, Pastor Montgomery, we'll go back to you to wrap up, but Duke did put in the chat. That's the link to the webinar that Sister Bettina was talking about. Pastor Montgomery, it's in your hands to wrap up this evening's webinar.
Certainly, I thank those of you that join us, especially those on social media and those platforms. And Dr. Minor, thank you for allowing me with this opportunity. Sister Minor, your input, and all of you that participated, Dr. Copper, Sister Loretta, and all that you're doing. This is what we try to do. And I think if we continue to do this, that the Lord will be well pleased with what we do. Because so often we talked about glorified bodies on the other side. But let's take care of what we have here in this great opportunity. And thank God for the professional, those of you that know exactly what you're talking about and allow people like me to just kind of hang around to glean and to learn. So thank you so very much. I think that's about it. So at this particular time, we'll cut off on our social media. And Dr. Minor, we're going to stay on a little longer for any Q&A, or is that it for tonight?
We'll stay a little bit longer after you sign off.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. And Duke, if we will sign off from that, and those of you that are willing to stay on, you can do so as well, and we'll be able to answer some more Q&A and some input as well. Take care. God bless.
This has been a production of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, the nation's largest denomination, and we certainly hope that you will continue and join us again on next month for our next TempleCare Matters webinar, which will be on Tuesday, May 6th. And several things we'll be highlighting, including Power Sunday and Bells for Remembrance. And we do acknowledge our president once again, Dr. Boise Kimber, which he says, we change the course, not our conviction. The gospel.